For decades, celebrating major life milestones meant receiving hand-picked physical presents. But that tradition is rapidly being replaced by a simpler alternative, financial gifts. At the individual level, this transition is driven by two very practical needs. The person giving the gift wants convenience, and the person receiving it needs flexibility. Zoom out to the macro level, and those two individual desires produce two significant systemic impacts: a reduction in environmental waste and an acceleration of major financial milestones for young adults. We can map how this works using this matrix. On the left, we track behavioral drivers, and on the right, systemic impacts. The individual choices, represented by the envelope, directly feed into the broad, real-world consequences, represented by the leaf. This transition optimizes economic utility and minimizes physical resource waste, evolving the gifting tradition into a more efficient societal model. Historically, giving a present required significant logistical friction. It demanded hours of brainstorming, traveling to stores, selecting an item, and physically preparing it for the recipient. Here in the first quadrant, we see the root of this friction: information asymmetry. The buyer rarely has exact knowledge of the recipient's shifting preferences. Opting for a financial gift bypasses this problem entirely. It removes the anxiety from the decision-making process. Consider a typical wedding invitation. A guest might want to contribute to the couple's new life, but they often lack insight into the couple's specific taste in home decor. Instead of spending an entire afternoon browsing department stores for a suitable household item, the guest can simply place cash in an envelope in a matter of seconds. For the giver, cash acts as a perfect substitute. It guarantees a meaningful contribution to the celebration while neutralizing the risk of a well-intentioned purchasing error. Physical goods come with an inherent restriction. Once an object is received, it is locked into a specific use, a use that may not align with the recipient's actual stage in life. Moving to the second quadrant, we introduce utility maximization. Liquid cash empowers the receiver to dynamically allocate funds based on perfect knowledge of their own needs. Take a university student celebrating graduation. By this point, they likely possess an excess of clothes and books. Rather than acquiring more objects, the graduate can redirect monetary gifts toward critical expenses, like upcoming tuition fees or their first month's rent. The immediate, real-world usefulness of paying a utility bill far outweighs the value of a decorative object that simply gathers dust on a shelf. Monetary gifting effectively transfers purchasing power to the one person in the transaction who possesses perfect information about what is actually required. The traditional gifting economy produces mountains of physical items that are briefly acknowledged, then hidden in cupboards, or eventually thrown in the trash. The root behavioral cause of this waste is duplication. Well-meaning friends and family often buy items the receiver either already owns or does not want. This creates a massive, unnecessary ecological cost. First, vast amounts of industrial energy are burned to manufacture these unneeded goods. Second, petroleum is extracted to create the single-use plastics and cardboard required to package them. Third, carbon is emitted by cargo ships and delivery trucks transporting these goods across the globe, only for them to end up sitting in a closet. In the third quadrant, we see how eliminating the exchange of unwanted physical items directly severs this chain of environmental damage. By bypassing the physical object, the monetary gift model results in a lower carbon footprint while minimizing household clutter. Picture a child's birthday party where uncoordinated guests arrive with multiple, identical plastic toys. If those guests gave money instead, it would prevent the manufacturing demand for those duplicate, redundant products at the source. This shift toward cash reduces global resource depletion by eliminating the production of goods that have no destination but the landfill. In the modern economic context, young individuals face steep challenges when attempting to afford major life expenses, from housing to education. Traditional gifts do not match the scale of this problem. Receiving small, individual physical items rarely helps someone overcome a massive financial hurdle. This bar chart in the fourth quadrant illustrates capital aggregation. Collecting monetary gifts from various sources over time creates a substantial, highly leveraged pool of funds. For example, a newlywed couple struggling to gather a deposit for their first home can use combined cash from guests as a vital stepping stone. This mathematically outperforms acquiring disconnected kitchen appliances. Aggregating micro-gifts into macro capital transforms a fleeting celebratory moment into a foundational financial pillar for a person's future. The societal preference for giving money is a rational response to modern logistical and economic friction. When we collapse these 4 separate quadrants into a single flowchart, we can see how they connect into one cohesive, self-sustaining model. Reducing micro-frictions like decision fatigue and unwanted goods helps address macro consequences like environmental waste and capital deficits. Choosing monetary gifts over physical objects provides a practical, sustainable foundation for the next generation's future. Providing practical support for future goals is also the core mission of the partner who made this educational analysis possible. Sponsored by the IELTS FOCUS 0847 705 973. If you're looking to accelerate your own academic and financial milestones, reach out to their team today to build a stronger foundation for your future.